Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers showcase video. In today's video, I am once again taking a look at one of your designs that you have linked me in the comment section of one of my videos. And if you wish to see something of yours shown on this channel, just leave me the Steam Workshop link somewhere and I'll eventually get around to it. But for today, we're going to be looking at a medium-sized ship called the Sphinx, which is this thing right here. It has everything you need to survive on your adventures, plenty of guns on there, refineries, assemblies, and even a small hangar to store a smallish sized ship. So pressing F10 and finding it in the spawn menu, there it is. This ship is 1,349 large blocks, requiring the decorative block number 1 and number 2 DLC packs. Now this person has gone one further than most people and even included the exact cost of building this thing. So we can see how much iron, how much cobalt, how much platinum, nickel, silicon and all that it requires. Then all the way down here we then have the components list to construct it, which is very, very nice. If you were adamant on building this in survival mode, you can make yourself a little checklist before attempting to build it via a projector. With that out of the way, it's now time to take a quick look around the outside. Then we're going to fly it around a bit and then maybe set some frogs on it. So all the way over here we have a very large front where we've got our glass bridge that sits at the very top here, where we see we've got a flight seat and a control seat at the very front, and we've got some ion thrusters that sit on the left and the right. Now ion thrusters are our primary way of getting around. We do have a couple of hydrogen thrusters, but we're largely going to be sticking to space, because if we enter a atmosphere, we're going to be dragged down to the planet and we'll leave a fairly large hole in the ground. So moving down from our bridge, we can see we've got some nice blockwork right here in the orange, grey and white, which comes across to the first of 2 hydrogen thrusters, which is going to help us slow down, and on the back it will help us accelerate. Moving just below there, we then have a dangerous door, which will be used as a docking bay, where we can connect up with that connector, snap ourselves in place, and then hop along and go inside the ship. And all the way down to the bottom, there we go. Now as we move around the side, we're going to see the first of a few weapons in the form of turrets. We got some rocket turrets, we got some Gatling turrets, and they do have a welder which sits just in between them to make sure they stay in tip-top shape in combat. As we just come up, and then, in fact, no, let's go and take a look around this bottom part first before we go all the way around. So just looking at this little lip coming all the way behind here, we've got another connector for a smallish transport ship just to slide in underneath, connect up and refuel yourself if you needed to. So it's quite a nice option to have, especially if you say we're connecting up a jump drive adapter, a cargo ship, if you want to drag more stuff along. It makes it very protected having it just underneath the ship, where it can hopefully avoid oncoming missiles. Yes, that is what it looks like under there. We have an extra doorway to get in right there, but more on that a bit later. So coming all the way back around to where I was, turning off the light, and here we go again. So past the turrets and up to our ion thrusters, we then see 2 more large ion thrusters which have been housed in some more steel blocks. As we move across, we can then see our DLC windows to peer inside, and some more turrets that sit along the top. Now if I was to come into this little gap right here, we'll be able to see another little window, or at least there was a window, there it is, where we can see inside once again, and a little ledge for you to stand on if you say you got trapped on the outside. But you are not safe here. If you're an evil person trying to break into the ship, you cannot stand on this platform because those turrets have a very good shot at you. Yes, a little tiny corner in there for you to view inside. Just next to it, we've got a ion thruster. Moving all the way around the side here, we've got some more lovely blockwork, which does look great. That's always the part I struggle with ships, is how to make a flat surface look good. But it's always the simplest of options that end up looking really good. With this, we just have little indents in between them, and it works surprisingly well, especially when the shadow hits it. Yes, moving all the way around to the back, this is our main thrust. We have 4 large ion thrusters, and there is our second hydrogen thruster. We have a Gatling turret to make sure we're nice and protected at the very back, as well as to protect incoming and outgoing ships from your hangar bay down here. So this is our hangar bay. We have a little sensor on our left hand side, which when we get close, will open it up and allow us to fly our ship inside. And this is the size we get, so we have to fit a fairly small fighter in here, or maybe a small exploration ship if you wanted to do that. Let's just come and back away there, and now let's go up the top first. So going above our hydrogen thrusters, we then see another rocket turret and some more great block work. Some more ion thrusters to help us go up and down. Then we can see the little gaps in there where we are trying to hide. Then towards the front, some more Gatling turrets, a antenna, and then we can see the very tippy top of our bridge where I am standing. Now let's come down and underneath the very bottom here where we can see not too much going on at the front, but some more lovely block work going along the main body. If I get a bit closer so the spotlight works, you can see some more great block work. We've got some more large ion thrusters to help us go up. Then all the way at the back, there is our Gatling turret. It feels a lot shorter when we look at it from the bottom than it is from the top. It's quite an odd ship. Yes, that is it all the way around the outside. It does look fantastic and it's got a nice lot of utility on it. So getting into my character, we have a few ways of getting in and out of this ship. So first and foremost, we have our docking bay right here where we can just come along and hop down. Now you will have to be quite careful because the gravity generator does not reach this area. If I just hop up here, we should be able to see the gravity generator kick in, but down here we will have to make sure our feet are firmly on the ground before disabling our jetpack. Opening up the door, coming inside, there is no airlock, but this is what it looks like with no lights on. We can see the little glow of the hydrogen thruster right there, and just looking around, we see the light of all the buttons. So putting my light on and my jetpack, let's go and have a quick look around. Just going around here, there's not too much to talk about. It's more of a maintenance area than anything else. But we do have a few little access points for the welders and to repair up the hydrogen tanks if they ever took damage. And we have a convenient ladder that comes up on one side, which allows us to go into the ship. And here we are, turning off my light. This is what we get. A cargo center first and foremost for us to dump any stuff in we don't want, and we can come across our DLC catwalks all the way around, and then up to here will be our bridge, which does look great, especially with this Skybox. The Skybox will be in the description below if you do want to download it along with this ship. That's entirely up to you, but yes, we've got the chair here, we've got a ladder going up to our main cockpit area, then around the front we then got a little LCD screen and a control seat which also controls the turrets and the jump drives. And if you wanted to, you could make that the main cockpit. It's entirely up to you. You just have to disable that one first. Behind us, we've got some lockers for you to store some weapons in if you needed to deal with some boarders, and a encouragement turret to make sure nobody's misbehaving. Coming back to this a bit later, let's go further on into the ship. So we've got two ways where we can go. We can either go down the steps, or we can come across this railing. Yes, let's just come down here past all our gyroscopes and our gravity generator. Looking behind us, we can then come down to here, where we can access our hydrogen tank. Then behind, we can open up this door and head on outside, which is the door we saw earlier just above this connector right here. Coming back inside, just come up to here, drop down and close that door. We can then head on up and around, over the railings, onto the catwalk. There's our gravity generator if we want to mess around with it. And we've got two ways where we can go. But looking up before we can go, we can see we've got some oxygen tanks just lining the ceiling. This is a nice way of hiding it. But let's go left first. So around this side, we can see our large cargo container just sticking out there. We've got a window to view outside. Coming around to here, we've got modules galore. These are attached onto our refineries and our assemblers to make sure we can do everything in a decent amount of time and get our bang for our buck when it comes to resources. Looking up here, we can then see an O2H2 generator, or I believe that's the O2H2 generator. I always get those blocks mixed up. Yes, we can just look around here. We've got another window. Then we can come across to here, which will then eventually lead down, and some more steps that will come all the way up and will show us our refinery sitting right there. Across to here to some more gyroscopes, some more assemblers. We can even access our jump drives on the left and right panels. But that is basically it for up here. Coming all the way back down and past all this, where we can then head down further into the ship, where we're lit up by the green glow of all the modules and the reactors and batteries and stuff. So just looking around, we do have a few other ways to go. So around here is a window where that little sneaky spot where we were sitting was. And around the corner here, we then got a small gyroscope. Now this is going to be the same on the opposite side where we come past a window and we have another gyroscope. And one thing you could do if you wanted to, just to spice this up a little bit, would be to add in, say, a toilet, maybe throw in a door. Let's just go and slap in the offset door right here. There we go, and now you've got a little toilet area to go in. It would help break up having all the gyroscopes everywhere, and also make it a bit more livable. But that's only if you have those DLC packs. Anyway, coming across to here and around, we then loop around our reactor, where we can just have a lot of little sneaky areas, even a little cryopod to recharge on, which sits on both sides. And around to here, we come down to the little cockpit. So this is a secondary cockpit, which sits just below there, which I believe I missed out when going around the outside. Yes, it sits on the rear of the ship, so if anything happened to the front of the ship, we could still have a controllable seat to fly this thing around and get it back to safety. But you will have to be careful depending on where you're standing where you get in. There is a small chance of you getting ejected out the seat into space. It doesn't always put you back out here, so if I come down like that, and now we're outside. So let me now just come back through this door, make my way back to where I was, and we'll continue on. So we can go even further down this ship by coming down these steps here, which will take us to our hangar bay. So this is what we saw earlier, where we can fit our small ship in. We've got some lights in there, we've got a connector to snap onto, we can see some thrusters through these windows, we've got some projectors there for all your needs, such as spawning in a ship, repairing a ship, and all that, and a button panel to control the doors. So the first one is to open, second is to close. We then have the projector small on and off and projector large on and off. Let's just open that up. We then start a timer block, which will then trigger the lights to spin around. Then that opens up to allow us to go in and out. We can then see the sensor there, which is how we're going to open up the hangar bay from the outside without getting out of our ship. But once we're inside, we will have to hop out and then come and close it up in order to protect it and keep it nice and safe. That just about covers the interior, so now it's time for me to head back to the main cockpit. I believe I've done everything. We've done up here, right? Yeah, we've done up here. So going all the way back to the front, oh, there is the survival kit that I was looking for earlier. There is a survival kit just in front of the steps. You can do a quick little recharge and respawn on. It's quite a neat way of hiding it and means it's completely out the way. And it is quite nice just to be able to run along, look up, and do a little recharge. Yes. Let's go back to the front of the ship, so past all this, all the way up, do a little hop, and we're now in the seat, where we've got a few things to play around with. Number 1 and number 2 is to turn on and off our turrets all the way around the ship. Number 3 is for our antenna on and off. Number 4 is for our transparent LCD at the front on and off. Number 7 is for our jump drives. Number 8 is for our hydrogen tanks to stockpile or not. And number 9 is for our hydrogen thrusters to switch them on or off. For tab number 2, we then got our batteries to recharge or auto, our refineries, assemblers and O2H2 generators, our gyroscopes, ion thrusters in case we don't need them, and then we have a button to close all doors on the ship. 8 is our gravity generator, number 9 is for our lights on and off, and that is that. So going for a quick little thruster test, going forwards, this is the speed we get. We are fairly fast for a large ship, and stopping is pretty decent as well. It's a good amount of thrusters all the way around this ship, which helps it go fast and stop in a reasonable amount of time. Going left and going right we're also pretty good, and then going down and going up we feel a little slower than everything else. And then moving my mouse around, this is the control we get. So we have a nice lot of weight on there, which suits a large ship. But if it is too much, we could always go and throw on a few more gyroscopes to help it be a bit more sensitive. As for that, now we need to hop out here. If I find my free camera and find the ship, it's time to spawn in a evil froggo. There we go, we now got some frogs coming into here, getting into the seat. Let's now switch on our turrets. And there we go, the frogs are now being attacked by all the little turrets. They appear to be having some problems targeting them. I'm not sure what's happened there. It's like they took themselves out. But we can, if we want to, if we're not happy with that, come into here and take manual control over these turrets. But there's all the frogs. We can zoom in and we can start blasting them like so. I suppose the copy and paste didn't work for the pirate setting, so they probably all spawned in, defaulted to me. And I suppose the easier thing would be to maybe remove that first, slap in a button, and then give the ship to the pirates. Let's go and Control F all that, give this to the space pirates. Let's come into this, and there we go. Now they're blasting all the frogs. Poor little frogs. Yes, this ship features quite a punch with its weaponry. It's not overkill, it's a very good balance of having weapons on here, which will deal with any kind of pesky pirates or anyone trying to steal your precious cargo. But as for that, that is it for the Sphinx. There'll be a link to it in the description below, and I'll be back with another showcase video some point soon. Bye bye.